Welcome to Xiao Voice. Continuing from the previous episode 184. The jade green flame turned into a storm within Xiaoyan's body with just a thought from his mind. After which, it gathered around the demon poison spot. The high temperature caused the poison to wiggle continuously. Wave after wave of faint black fog spread out. Currently, the demon poison spot had already lost its qualification to act fearlessly within Xiaoyan's body like it did in the past. Back then, it was able to completely ignore the glazed lotus heart flame. However, with the increase in Xiaoyan's strength, the little fire seedling back then had turned into a large being. The demon poison spot appeared just like a herd of goats that had been targeted by a pack of wolves when the jade green flame that surrounded it. It felt as though it was trembling. It was able to sense that its good days had come to an end. Xiaoyan's mind coldly smiled as he observed this demon poison spot. Back then, this thing had tortured him until he had suffered. Now, however, it had become nourishment to raise his strength. Refine! Xiaoyan cried out softly within his heart. Immediately, the jade green flame, surrounding the demon poison spot, suddenly rotated at a high speed. Numerous fire seedlings swarmed over from all directions like a countless number of fire threads, forcefully cutting the demon poison spot into many portions. Following the separation of the demon poison spot, a thought passed through Xiaoyan's mind and the glazed lotus heart flame was also separated. It wrapped around the many tiny demon poison spots and began to separate and refine them. Xiaoyan's eyes were tightly shut within the room. Wisps of jade green flames slowly rushed out of his skin, gradually increasing the temperature of the room. As more time passed, the poison contained within Xiaoyan's body was gradually turned into nothing under the refinement of the glazed lotus heart flame. After the demon poison spot was refined, the waves of pure do qi hidden within the poison would surge out. After which, they flowed like floodwater through Xiaoyan's veins, causing his body, which had originally been exhausted of do qi, to be swiftly filled. His aura was slowly recovering to its peak. With Xiaoyan's current strength, it was not too difficult to refine the demon poison spot. Everything proceeded smoothly and naturally. All he needed was time. Time was just like water and one could not afford to squander it. Xiaoyan was unaware that 3 days had passed during this refinement. Xuan and the others had come to find him during these 3 days and found that the tightly shut door was a little strange. It was fortunate that they were not reckless people. After sensing the hot air pouring from the room, they could guess that Xiaoyan should be training. Hence, they did not forcefully disturb him. Yi City had become a lively place during Xiaoyan's 3 days of quiet training. The reason for this liveliness was naturally because of the soul-stirring battle that had occurred a couple of days ago. The appearance of Xiaoyan's group and the place they stayed were all in the Yi clan, causing the Yi clan's recent reputation to be replaced. Many people had thought that the Yi clan had already declined. However, looking at it now, it seemed that there was an extremely powerful patron behind them. It was also because of this that some of those factions with ill intent for the Yi clan did not dare do anything for now. Even the experts from the Ice River Valley ended up leaving in a dispirited manner. There was no need to even talk about them. By relying on the reputation of Xiaoyan's group, the Yi clan had also enjoyed a period of silence. It had been a long time since the Yi clan had enjoyed being the focus of everyone's attention. Xiaoyan sat on the bed in a room steaming from hot air. Perspiration vaporized from his pores, causing his clothes to tightly adhere to his skin. At this moment, his face had also turned an unusually flushed red. The originally fist-sized demon poison spot on his chest had transformed into a tiny black spot. One could even vaguely see a faint green flame surrounding this tiny, black spot. Wisps of white fog were emitted from Xiaoyan's nose as he breathed. At this moment, Xiaoyan's breathing had become unusually mighty. The majestic do qi within his body was just like a surging flood, carrying a gushing sound as it swiftly flowed through his veins. The injuries within his body, that had appeared as a result of using the Skyfire 3 mysterious change, were fully healed. Moreover, his condition was even better than before. The vast and mighty do qi whizzed as it flowed within Xiaoyan's body. It seemed to vaguely possess a fierce momentum as though it was pushing through a bottleneck. Following the more and more powerful do qi within his body, Xiaoyan's body turned a flushed red. Tiny threads of do qi pillars erupted from countless pores all over his body like steam. Crack! The do qi rotated at high speed. This continued for a moment before Xiaoyan's body suddenly stiffened. A slight sound that appeared as though it did not exist rang out from deep within his soul. A comfort that was difficult to describe spread through Xiaoyan's body after this slight noise appeared. It immediately spread to every corner of Xiaoyan's body. The slightly swollen feeling, that formed because of the appearance of the vast and mighty Dou Qi, disappeared at this moment. A feeling of desiring more replaced it. I have broken through to 3 stars, huh? Xiaoyan's tightly shut eyes slowly opened at this moment. There were some traces of a jade-green flame flowing within his black eyes. Xiaoyan lowered his head and looked at his chest. The demon poison spot had yet to be completely refined. He was still able to see many small, black-colored spots. The agglomeration of Xie Baiyan's lifetime of Dou Qi was not a small sum. Currently, my body is in its best condition. It is really a pity if I give up like this. Xiaoyan looked at the small, black-colored spots. He hesitated for a moment and did not immediately end his training condition. Instead, he once again shut his eyes, directing his mind. Since he had already refined the spots to such a state, he should completely resolve them. However, he wondered if the Dou Qi that remained in the demon poison spot would allow Xiaoyan to advance to a 4-star Dozong. The remaining demon poison spot was unable to hold out against this refinement by Xiaoyan. Within half a day, the tiny black spots completely disappeared from Xiaoyan's chest. Only at this moment did the demon poison spot, that Xie Baiyan had planted within Xiaoyan's body, completely vanish. If that old fellow in the underworld came to be aware that his demon poison spot had not only failed to take Xiaoyan's life but had instead aided the advancement of Xiaoyan's strength, it was likely that he would be extremely furious. After refining the remaining bits of the demon poison spot, the pure Dou Qi that remained flowed through Xiaoyan's body. There might be a great amount of Dou Qi, but it did not reach the point where he showed signs of breaking through to the 4th star of the Dozong class. The gap between the levels in the Dozong class were extremely large. It was not an easy matter to raise one's strength even if Xiaoyan possessed a training nourishment like the demon poison spot. Xiaoyan frowned slightly. He sensed that the energy in his body was just a nudge away from being able to touch the barrier between the levels. He had underestimated the enormous energy needed for his strength to leap forward by 2 stars. It was unexpected that even the demon poison spot had failed to satisfy this squandering. I already feel that I am able to touch the barrier of a 4-star Dozong. If I give up now, it is impossible to tell just when I will have such a feeling in the future. Xiaoyan sighed. At this moment, the arrow was already strung on the bow. It did not allow him to relax. Since the Dou Qi within the demon poison spot had already been completely refined by him, he would have to provide himself with the necessary resources. This thought had just flashed across his heart when he waved his hand. Bright red medicinal ingredients flashed and appeared from within his storage ring. After which, they remained suspended in the air. All of these medicinal ingredients were all of the fire affinity, and they naturally possessed a great amount of fire affinity energy within them. Xiaoyan opened his mouth and exhaled as he looked at these medicinal ingredients. A mouthful of jade-green flames surged out and wrapped around all of these medicinal ingredients. Bang! Bang! These medicinal ingredients split apart after being surrounded by the flame. Wave after wave of powerful fire affinity energy spread out of them, filling the interior of the room. According to common sense, the energy within medicinal ingredients cannot be directly absorbed by a person. Moreover, it was indeed a waste to use the energy within medicinal ingredients like this. However, at this moment, Xiaoyan did not have so much time to refine all of them into medicinal pills to consume. If he wasted them, then so be it. In any case, he needed to possess sufficient energy to successfully break through to a 4-star Dozong today. Xiaoyan nodded only after sensing the surging energy that filled the room. He once again shut his eyes. With the support of this energy, he should be able to successfully reach the level of a 4-star Dozong. While Xiaoyan was trying his best to raise his strength, over 10 black shadows were accompanied by a bloody wind as they flew across the sky over 500 kilometers from Yi City in a wild manner. Upon a closer look, one would discover that these large black figures were numerous 4-winged beasts with a single sharp horn on their heads. Some figures in purple-black clothes were standing on the heads of these single-horned beasts. A vague, majestic aura was quietly undulating from their bodies. A man was standing with his hands behind his back on a four-winged single-horned beast right at the front. The man was extremely handsome, but there was a gloomy expression on his face as his eyes stared at the distant northern horizon. Commander Ling Quan, based on the information we have obtained, young Miss should be in Yi City in the Pill region. A man in purple-black robes respectfully reported from behind the handsome man. Ling Quan was a familiar name. This person was the commander of the so-called Black Submerged Army, who had a conflict with Xiao Yan back when he had taken Xuan away from the Inner Academy. Ling Quan. That trash from the Xiao clan is also there, right? Ling Quan faintly asked. A dark and solemn fury flashed across his eyes. Hearing this, the person behind hesitated for a moment before nodding. Ling Quan was expressionless. His eyes looked to the north while his fist slowly tightened. A ferocious expression flashed across his eyes. Little trash, I gave you a warning back then to keep your distance from young Miss. Looks like if I do not give you an unforgettable lesson this time around, you will not put this commander's words in your heart.